Hi all, hope you all are doing well. Greeting from LCC SJC. Welcome to the small talk on competitive programming.
Hi, this is Akshita, Student Coordinator Lead.
And this is Sharanya, the student coordinator of LCC. We all know that the coding rounds during placements is one of the trickiest and the most feared rounds. So this talk is based on how to crack this competitive coding round, how to practice and overcome this fear. We have here with us Akshay and Surya Kamal. Hi Akshay. Hi Surya Kamal. Who are the
Hi,
technical
Sharanya.
coordinators? Who are the technical coordinators of our club?
Let me give a brief introduction about Surya Kamal and Akshay. Both of them have keen interest in algorithms and data structures. They have participated and won multiple prizes in various competitions hosted by LCC and CSI. And both of them have also explored various platforms like CodeChef, CodeForces, Hackerrank, and LeetCode. Surya Kamal has solved over 1,000 plus questions on various coding platforms. And Akshay has achieved 6-star badge for problem solving in Hackerrank. And Surya Kamal is interested in app development and has participated in various hackathons. And also, Akshay has done various projects on machine learning and deep learning. So that was a small introduction about Surya Kamal and Akshay. Now let's start exploring the world of competitive programming with them.
Guys, you can pin down your doubts in the comment section down there and we will try to answer as much as possible. Surya Kamal, from when did you start coding?
Yeah, I started coding from my second semester onwards, and I was always interested in algorithmic puzzles and solving like algo and DS questions, and I was always intrigued about like which algorithms are used in day-to-day world and which data structures are used in like every application and something. So yeah, I started from my second semester, and the platforms which I chose were like CodeChef and Hackerrank only, and then I moved on to some other sites.
Wow, that's really nice, Surya Kamal. What about you, Akshay?
Yeah, I started my journey from second semester itself. I started as a beginner, just interested in solving some math puzzles and some basic implementation problems. I really got interested and serious in fifth semester when the placements were also up, and I felt more interest about algorithms and data structures. I've solved many problems on LeetCode and HackerRank. I just began my journey with HackerRank, and so gradually I shifted to LeetCode. Yeah.
That's nice, Akshay. So, Akshay, can you tell us about what is competitive programming and why is it important?
Yeah, I'll just brief what is competitive programming. So before that, I'll just present my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yes, Akshay.
Yeah, so before jumping into competitive programming, so let's understand what is programming. Programming is writing a set of bug-free codes for a real-world problem within the boundaries of the language, or within the constraints of the language to achieve some product. So, just to speak informally, it is an art of solving real-world application within the boundary of the language. So then, what does competitive programming mean? Competitive programming means that with programming there is a competition, that is people around you are also solving the same set of problems, and they are also trying to find the solution for the same set of problems, but an extra constraint here is the clock is ticking with the programming. So as you can see, it has become over the years it has become a mind sport, that is many people have become interested in competitive programming to solve with a stipulated amount of time. So what does competitive programming check in a person is, So it basically checks the algorithmic skills. That is the algorithmic skills in the sense how best you can fit an algorithm into a real world application. Basic math skills. Basic math skill in the sense the aptitude which we learn. If you have good basic math skills or reasoning skills, then we get an upper hand over other competitive programmers. Programming skills boils down to just writing bug free code and modular code. That is, the program which we have written should be understood by others also. Speed in the sense, the speed can be either your typing speed or the your thinking ability. Everything counts in this speed category. And also the creativity is how you differently, or how with which different perspective do you look into a problem that is given to you. Various perspectives may give various solutions. And coming down to debugging skills, when our code stretches from just 10 lines of code to just 100 lines of code, then there are some bugs which might be introduced for every line we write. So debugging is also one of the most important skill that a programmer should have. And efficiency, finally, efficiency is in terms of either the time complexity or the space complexity. So so yeah, that is about what is competitive programming.
Can you also tell us about why competitive programming is important?
Yeah. So coming down to why competitive programming. So as you can see here, the left side picture, that is people are telling that they know Android development and Angular, and they know many frameworks. But the companies which are coming to the college are interested in programming, in the sense maybe competitive programming or the data structures and algorithm. So basically, the companies look for a fresher is that they look for mostly their programming skills, their debugging skills, rather than the frameworks. Because why competitive programming, there is no definite answer, but we can put up some points such that it is an exercise to the brain. That is, you can continuously give exercise to the brain by solving algorithmic puzzles, data structures, and many other problems. Real world, you can give solutions to the many other real world problems. The second point being, because you have taken computer science, so that was simply a pun. Anybody who is interested in programming can take up competitive programming, irrespective of what is their field. They might be from mechanical, civil, environmental. Anyone can take up competitive programming if they are interested in solving problems. So coming down to the job security we'll talk a bit later. But job security in the sense, as I told you, most of the companies are looking in a person, the programming skills, rather than his frameworks and all. And standing apart from the crowd, this is the most important thing, because many start competitive programming with a high spirit but end up going low because of its tough nature. And also they feel low after some period of time. Only those people who stand the test of the time, or only those people who show some perseverance, even though they fail in the initial stages of the career in competitive programming, stand apart from the crowd and go on to become great programmers. So, and finally, interested in programming in the sense that is the key aspect which keeps you alive, keeps your competitive programming spirit alive. It gives you a driving force or a motivation, so that you can practice competitive programming daily. And so what best can competitive programming explain rather than a quote by Hackerrank team? It says that frameworks may come and go, but what stands the test of the time is the programming skills and the core computer science concepts. So this is the most important quote, because from programming is there from the dawn of the invention of computers, but frameworks have come and gone. Only the programming there is still alive, and it keeps on being alive for more than a decade or so. So, and the last point here is, we might have heard of the big tech giants, that is Google, Facebook, Uber, DirectEye, Goldman Sachs, DShaw. These are one of the greatest companies and the pioneers of pioneers in their own fields of expertise. And these companies hire only based on competitive programming skills, not based on your any other, like they take into consideration your projects also, but the competitive programming is what they check in a candidate. Mostly they have like maybe like 2 3 rounds of grilling of competitive programming. In each round you have to propose a solution and get it accepted, so that you can move to the next round and finally crack these computed big tech giants. They actually have very much intensive programming codes which you have to solve in order to get into these companies. So I think I made my answer very clear why competitive programming.
Yes, Akshay. And Surya, do you have any points to add?
Yeah. I mean, as Akshay said that it is important for your like logical building skills and for the placements also. So yeah, like I would also add to that is it also makes you like it also gives you a good habit of code, like you can convert your logic to code in a given short amount of time, which is actually very much important in the initial rounds of the placements. Every company will take 1 or 2 initial rounds, and the first round will be aptitude, and the second round is mostly coding. So you have to solve 2 or 3 questions in like 1 or 1.5 hour. So it's very good if you have practice coding, and competitive coding can surely help you a lot. And yeah, other than that, you can like you will improve your time management also if you have experience in CP. So yeah.
Thank you, Surya Kamal. Actually, both of your profiles in Hackerrank and the other coding platforms is really inspiring. We all know that we need to solve like around 30 plus problems to achieve the first star in Hackerrank, and it takes double the effort to receive the next badge and so on. And the difficulty also keeps on increasing. So, Surya Kamal, how long did it take for you to achieve your current position in Hackerrank? And also, how do you keep yourself motivated?
Yeah. So it took me like a lot. I mean, it took me around 2 years to solve that amount of questions and then get to that level. And the thing that kept me motivated was, see, I have been always interested, and I always wanted to solve like real world code and real world problems, and I was always intrigued by the algorithmic puzzles which were there. And yeah, I mean, and also the pa- badges, the ratings, and the stars will surely like keep you motivated. uh, so and the zeal to like do do better every day will is surely gonna help you.
So, your main key was interest. And what about yours, Akshay?
Yeah, I started off hacker rank in the second semester. So initially, I was new to programming, and like every day, the thing that kept me motivated was like most of the time in the second semester and third semester we were free. Like we didn't have much work to do, and also the thing that kept me motivated was the hard work which we had put in, that reflected as stars or batches in hacker rank. So as we went on solving some good problems, the challenges got tougher and tougher. and we needed to put in more effort to learn new algorithms. And actually it took me like 1.5 to 2 years to achieve the rank which I am at present now.
Really nice. That's really nice.
Yes, that was impressive, Akshay. I would like to ask a question that everyone has. So, what we learned during third semester and fourth semester in algorithms and data structures, is it enough to crack this round, or should we explore more? And can you give us some sources to explore from? And also, Surya, can you tell us, are there any specific concepts which has to be given more concentration? And is there any concepts which is asked during these rounds?
Yeah, I mean, see, if anyone has paid attention in the class, and he knows that what is a algorithm and what is data structures, and he has he has been attentive in the third and fourth semester, then it will surely help you. But the thing is, uh, we we don't actually get hands-on experience in the class. So apart from like uh, apart from the theory part, we should get to know what is the difference between theoretically solving a question on on a piece of page and practically typing the code. So for example, take the time and space complexity. So what we used to get in our books was you have to analyze it, and you have to write a formula which is t of n is equal to 2 into t of and something like that, and you have to just find the whether it is o of n, o of 2n. But when you actually apply the code in real life, then you will get to know that what is the actual difference between n square code and one o of n code. So yeah, I mean, practical knowledge is very much important. And apart from that, talking about the topics, yeah, like time and space complexity is important, and you have to get to know some basic math, like the number theory, which includes like your GCD, LCM, and prime numbers and all. And apart from that, yeah, DP is very much asked in online coding competitions, and also greedy algorithms and graphs and bitwise algorithms are also somewhat important. Yeah, can you put next slide, Akshay? Yeah, and if you have some experience in competitive coding, or if you know some of the previous concepts, then you can jump onto these advanced topics such as trie and segment trees and PITs and thesaurine sets, approximation, suffix array, and all. So, like if you have some experience, then you can surely try these topics. But if you don't have an experience, then those topics which were in the previous slide are very much important. And I would say to please focus on writing optimized code as much as possible, because the in placements also time time constraint is a big thing, and you will have to pass hundreds of test cases over there. So yeah, having a good experience in writing an optimized code is also important. So apart from these topics, I think so everything is okay.
Thanks, Surya Kamal. We all have faced one problem during the placements during these rounds, that some of the questions in the event will be very long and it takes like so much time to read it, and we all are under the time constraint. So is there any easy way to understand the questions, and like any tips on what to concentrate and what not to? Are there any tricks or something?
Yeah. So the here the trick or the crux of the problem is every problem in either competitive programming or the placement related issue has got some story involved around it. So that makes the problem very big. But the crux of the problem is actually what the output they are asking from us. That is finally whether they are asking us to find the prime number, or whether they are asking to find GCD or LCM. I'm not saying the solutions would be that simple, but it is important for us to identify those solutions. And also, it is a common convention nowadays that every simple question is wrapped up around a very nice fancy story, so that to make the like student to just go into the story and just wander around. So it actually creates an illusion that the question is very big and lengthy. It is the same case with the competitive programming also. Just I'll say what is the difference between conventional programming and competitive programming. And here the case is the same. The thing is, the pressure of the competition around the people is the same. That is, there is a pressure. The people around you are also solving the same problem. May it be the competitive programming or may it be the placement. So if you are sitting in our college, then you can literally hear the keyboards clicking of each the person next to you. That creates a pressure around you. Next thing is continuous ticking of the clock. That means there is a stipulated amount of time at which you are supposed to solve the question. And that is very important, as a competitive program generally revolves around this concept, because it is not important that you solve the problem or not. You are supposed to solve the problem within a stipulated amount of time. And third one, and the most important thing, that this is the answer to the question just Sharanya asked, that is the unorthodox way of asking the question. The questions are simply wrapped around some fancy stories so as to create an illusion to the students. Mostly it will be like the first paragraph would be included with some Alice and Bob stories, so which are nowhere relevant to the topics. If you are like, if you are practiced enough, you will come get to know that you have to skip that part and move to the problem statement, which is actually which we are to supposed to solve. The rest of the points are similar, that is penalty on the test cases, and they require the complete solution. They do not accept the partial solution. They accept the complete solution and demand for the most efficient solution. The efficient solution is always like it is always the demand from the may it be the interview point of view or competitive programming point of view. Yeah, if you are not getting an efficient solution, then the time limited exceeded will be shown to you. Yeah, I think that answers your question.
Thank you, Akshay. That was very helpful. So, on the same line, Akshay, can you tell us how to break a complex program into smaller portions? And what is your go to approach for this? And also, can you take up a complex program and solve it?
Yeah, as I said earlier, the questions are wrapped around like some stories. First of all, you have to neglect the story part. If you read, also you have to keep in the behind back of your mind that this is of no use for us, and you have to directly jump into the part which is actually relevant and making some sense to the question. That is if there are input, we have to seriously study the constraints given. That is one of the most important thing here. That is, the constraints are like you'll get to know this while when we start to code. That is, if the constraints are below certain thing, we can apply the brute force search, or if the constraints are too strict, then you must go for optimized solution. So constraints play a very major role here. And also in many of the cases, the questions are like mostly kind of a puzzle. I think, yeah, the question need to only be to address. So in that case, the input and output which are present in the editors comes very much in handy, because you can clearly make out the solution from seeing the input and output, so that like this is the input and this is the output, and I can come to a general solution by seeing the input and output. So the major takeaways here, that is breaking the bigger problem into smaller problem, are first of all get the crux of the problem, what the problem is trying to convey, and second one, take very much like take a good look on the constraints. It will help you to decide the efficiency of the problem. And if the question itself is like an puzzle, so then if you are not able to understand the question, then input and output, sample input and sample output which are present, it will be the help for you. So if apart from this also there are some problems, like you have to seriously look at the editorial and get back to the problem again. So coming back to the second part of the question, like I have designed a sample problem here. That is, the problem states that you are a professional robber planning to rob houses along a street. Each house has certain amount of money stashed. The only constraint stopping you from robbing each of them is that adjacent houses have security system connected, and it will automatically contact the police if two adjacent houses were broken into the same night. And what the question wants us to convey is, keeping this constraint in mind, that is, the no two adjacent houses should be robbed. You have to maximize the amount of money that the robber is going to rob from the house. After understanding the solution, you will come to know that if the robber had good programming skills, he could have made a huge amount of money. But I'm not saying that is a good thing, but we can also this is a particular application here. So there is a input, there is a output specified in every part of the question. The input is an array of integers specifying the amount present in each house. That is, the total 2 coins, or you can say anything. 2 coins are present in the first house, 7 coins are present in the second house, 9 coins are present in the third house, and 3 coins fourth house, and so on. So the robber has to rob the maximum number of coins in such a way that he has to maximize his amount of coins, and keeping in mind that he should not rob 2 adjacent houses. If he robs 2 adjacent houses, then the police will get a call and he will be caught. So he has to make a smart decision here, and also at the same time he has to collect maximum amount of cash. So as we can see, there is the output as 12. Let's go to the explanation. Here, if he robs the house 1, he'll get money as 2. He'll rob the house 3, he'll get money as 9, and he'll rob the house 5 and get the money as 1. So the total amount you can rob and get the maximum cash is, that is, he can rob 12 coins. So as we can see, there is a small glitch here, that is, he's robbing the first house, the third house, and the fifth house. You may assume that, okay, what we'll do is we'll just add up the odd or the sum at the odd position and sum at the even position, and we'll get the maximum of that. So this is an illusion that the question actually this is a sample input, which is a trap to the problem solver, because it is like taking you into a single direction wherein they are provided the sample input in such a way that you have to you tend to assume that, okay, you tend to assume a wrong answer, but you feel that it is correct. So here I have basically purposefully taken this solution in order to address that part. That is, here only the odd members are chosen, the money at the odd indexes are chosen, but every time it is not the case. So let's see how this problem can be solved. So this problem can be solved. See, as I mentioned, like I have solved these problems, this kind of problems. So I can say that you can follow this approach, but this approach might not automatically flash into your mind. But how to decide this? So here is a simple method. That is, if the person is at the ith position, he can rob either he cannot rob the I plus 1th house. He should rob the I plus 2th house only. If he is at the I plus 1th house, he had not robbed the ith house, and he should not rob the I plus 1th house also, because the constraint is he is not allowed to rob the adjacent houses. He has to skip the either go to the if he's at the first position, he has to either go to the third house or the fourth house. So there is something kind of making a decision here, that is making the decision that whether to rob the ith house or not. If he does not rob the if he robs the ith house, then he will move to the directly the I plus 2nd house. If he does not rob the ith house, he moves to the I plus 1th house. This is like creating a crossroads. In such cases, we can go for recursive solutions. Recursive solutions are simply applied when there is kind of making of decisions and overlapping subproblems. When we tend to make decisions and we don't know which path gives us the efficient solution, then we apply recursion, and on top of that we apply dynamic programming. Programming is nothing but simply capturing the states of the recursive solution, so that if that state occurs again in the problem, then we already have the solution and we need not calculate that once again. So this is the solution which we can come upon. So you cannot directly say this is the dynamic programming solution or something like that. We have to first address it as a recursive solution. That is, there are two paths diverging. So we have to go in both the paths to see which path has actually got the efficient solution, and then we have to apply dynamic programming on that. I think I made the approach clear, but we will move on to the code that I have written. So this code, this is the famous robber problem. You can get it anywhere. So this is a small piece of code which I have written. Here, the rob is a function which passes a vector int nums. That is, here vector is nothing but an array. We take the size of the array. If there are no elements in the array, we return it to 0. So one important thing while solving questions is the corner cases. If n equal to 0, if this is a corner case which you have to address. If you don't address, then the problem tends to crash, or there is a chance that the problem might not solve some sample inputs. Then we assign the DP array where we store all the dynamic programming states to -1. So every time it is a common convention to assign -1 for all the DP states. As we go on solving, you'll get to know why we apply that, and we simply return max of minimum. This is the function which we are calling to calculate the total amount of money that the person has robbed. So what we can do is either we can start from the 0th index, or we can start from the first index. So I'll come again. So either we can, this is the minimum cost function is the one which actually allows the person to either start from the 0th index or the first index, because there are two paths diverging. Either we have to take the 0th index path or the first index path. So I have done the same thing, but when I do this thing, I will take only the solution which maximizes the answer. So this is the minimum cost function. It takes the array of the nums and it takes the input n. N is the size of the array, and in p is the position where the robber is at present. So this is the base condition of a recursion. Every recursion is useless without its base condition. So people tend to get afraid of recursion only because of this. They are not able to apply the base conditions properly. If base conditions are properly applied, and then the recursion actually solves your problem within some 2 or 3 lines. So here, if p is greater than or equal to n, that is the person has crossed all the number of houses, return 0. And if so I'll come back to this if statement later. Before that, our recursive solution is solving this. It is returning nums of p plus, it is maximizing the function returned here. That is either the function, either the person, as I told you before in my approach, either the person chooses the ith house to be robbed or the I plus 1th house to be robbed. If the person chooses the ith house to be robbed, he goes to the I plus 2th house because he cannot rob the I plus 1th house. If the person chooses to rob the I plus 1th house, leaving behind ith house, then he goes to the I plus 3rd house. So this is what the entire logic is boiled down to. So I take different paths and I'll try to maximize this. So this is two recursive calls which I am making and trying to maximize both the solution. So when we make two recursion calls, a recursive tree is built up, that is each node has got its own two childs. If we make three recursive calls, then each node has got its own three children, each calculating some set of sub problems. So what this does is it calculates the sub problem for the problem starting from p plus 2th index. It calculates the sub problem for starting with the p plus 3th index. And but since we are using this, since you can assume that tree as a like tree has got 2 power n nodes, so similarly this solution goes on to become exponential. That is, the time complexity would become order of 2 power n. So in order to optimize this, we cache the solution using the DP states. If TP of P is not equal to -1, that is, if already a value is set in that state, then we'll return that value directly. We no need to compute the value again. Or else we will simply put inside the DP state what is already calculated. So this is how a problem is solved. You will get a clear picture when you start solving problems on your own. Yeah, I think that is all about the code.
Thank you, Akshay, for giving an insight on how to approach a problem. The example you presented made it easier to understand. Thank you so much. And now, coming back to one of the most basic confusion the student faces is what platform to choose to start. What do you recommend, Surya Kamal?
Yeah, like I myself got started with the Hackerrank and CodeChef. So, but what I feel is the best platform for a beginning is either Hackerrank, Geeks or Geeks, LeetCode, or even Hackerrank. Okay, so let me show you like how these sites are and what to like which question should you solve first and how can you filter out the easy questions to the hard ones. Okay, so let me present my screen. Yeah, so like I said earlier that that LeetCode is also a good platform to begin with. So you just need to go in the problems section and you know, if you want, like if you are interested in any particular topics such as array, string, or like math also. So for beginners, I would say you should begin with the easy ones, and you can sort out the easy questions from here. Like you can check the difficulty and click on this button to sort out the easier ones. Okay, so and also if you want the best questions in all of these questions, then you can also sort out the curated ones, like these top 100 like questions also, and then you can solve using this. Okay, wait a minute, I think so. Yeah, like you can start solving from the easy ones, and these questions are that, see, you don't actually require the knowledge of everything to solve these questions. Okay, you should have just the basic logic to building skills and some basic you know, debugging skills and writing your own like writing your thoughts into a code. So yeah, I mean, LeetCode is a good platform, but if you are like, if you haven't like even touched the code of any any language, then I would say you should go with Hackerrank, and then after logging in, you can go to the practice part of it, and in the problem solving part, you can sort the easy questions over here, and I would say that sort using the most common paradigms, which are like arrays and strings also, if there is, I think so it could be in data structures. So yeah, you can do the questions on arrays and stacks also, if you have some basic experience. Also, if you want to go a level up, or if you want to give some competitive coding competitions, so you can go to the Coursera page. Okay, so if you open like all past contests, then you can see that there are many contests which are going on every other day. So suppose I want to solve October cook-off. Okay, so if you open this, then you can go to division 2 also, and see the first two questions are very easy. Okay, so like these two questions. So always try to aim for at least these two questions. So suppose this is the question. Okay, so it does not require any string manipulation algorithms, or some algorithms like KMP or something like that. These are just the basic questions, and these questions are actually categorized as ad hoc questions. Okay, so if you come down here, you can see that this is categorized as ad hoc, and basically ad hoc means that you don't need a particular algorithm to solve it. Okay, and these are the questions which are actually most popular in CP, and yeah, like every contest will have some questions, like the top one or two questions will be of this topic. I mean, it's not actually a topic, it's you can say a category. So yeah, like I would like to request all of you to just check out some competitions, and also Coursera hosts an monthly competition named Long Challenge. So from like you can, yeah, like this is the October challenge. Okay, so uh, every month it is conducted in the first week, and it is of a 10 days long, and it contains approximately, I think so, 11 questions, or 10 questions, or something. And see, the first 3 and 4 questions are fairly easy ones, and you can try to solve it. And these questions don't even require any particular algorithm or DS. It would just require some basic logical skills and basic analytical skills. So yeah, you should try to solve at least 2 and 3 questions of every long challenge. And talking about the code forces, it is also a good platform. You can go to contest part of it, and see there are actually 4 divisions in this, that div 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fourth one being the easiest, and the first one being the hardest. So if you are a pure beginner, then you can either pick div 3 or div 4. So let's just open a div 3 competition. So as I'm saying in every other competition, like the first 3 or 4 questions are really easy, and why I'm like insisting you to solve the first 3 questions are because, see, like even in the placements, all the questions are not according to a particular algorithm as such. They they are just like about solving a math problem, like some basic mathematical manipulation, or some basic array manipulation. So it does not require a heavy algorithm to solve it. So that's what I'm saying, that to at least try to solve with the top three questions in every contest. And the thing that these all sites will help you in is the time management. So if you like give these competition, and these competitions are usually of 2 to 3 hours, so you have to solve like eight questions in under 2 hours. So it is also the exact scenario to the your placements. So yeah, like try and solve more and more questions. And coming back to the slides, I would say that can Akshay, can you present your slide
Yeah.
over here?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the next slide. And yeah, so as I said, for the placements also, the platforms are really important, such as Kicks or Geeks, the Lead Code, and also Interview Good. If you want to solve like every code in a stipulated amount of time. And yeah, like why I have written this line is solve all problems with timer, because it is the most important part of solving any question, because everywhere you have to solve a given question at max in like 40 minutes. And in interviews also, the interviewer will tell you to write the whole code in less than uh, like for 40 minutes or so. And since all the interviews are going online, so you have to be like good at writing code fastly. uh, and so like we being in the fourth year, we have felt that the coding part is actually you know most important in the placements part, if if the interviews are going online. Because explaining anything on a piece of paper is easy, but like if the interviews are online, you don't have a piece of sheet, and you can't like go to paint and you know draw a tree or something like that. So yeah, I mean, it is really important to code, to like make a habit of code each day, and like at least code one question every day, even if it's a easy one, so that it will help you a lot in the future. So yeah.
Thank you, Surya Kumar, for introducing us to various coding platforms. And as one begins with competitive coding, they might face some challenges. So, Surya Kumar, can you speak about some challenges of competitive programming?
Yeah, sure. Like some people have some people and me also like have faced many challenges, such as we don't have any clue to like which DS or algo to use in that question. So see, most people, what they do is they, they think that there is always an algorithm being used in that question. So as I have presented my screens with the questions like the first and second question of every competition does not require any algorithms. So as I talked about the ad hoc problems, so those questions does not require any algorithm. So don't always think that if you know if you know quicksort or if you know merge sort, then you can solve all the you know so you can solve all the questions on sorting. You have to actually be creative in a way that just by knowing the the inner parts of that particular algorithm, you can create a own algorithm with a given time complexity and space complexity. So yeah, and the people who like have some experience in coding, and even they said they say that they don't have any TS or algo experience. Like they don't know what algorithms to use. So in that case, I would suggest you to go to like various sites and various YouTube channels and just get to just get your basics cleared. And yeah, so the second point being that people are stuck at a problem for very long. So this actually happens to everyone, and it has always happened to me. So the only thing that here I would like to say is yeah, if you have just began with coding and you don't know much about uh, writing a basic code. So at that case, like if you try for 1 or 2 hours and even after then you're not able to crack it, then I would suggest to go to editorials or the discussion part of that question. So the people actually explain very well how to solve it using multiple algorithms, and how you can get an idea like how to approach this question, and also some hints are also given. But I would say that just don't go and see the the code and then just forget about the question. Just go to that particular editorial and see the algorithm of that question, okay, and then try to solve it on your own. So if you are able to do it, then trust me, it would be a huge improvement in you. And the third thing is you feel scared about the questions on the topic that we don't know. So yeah, I mean it's also common in everyone. So for that, I would like to say that yeah, I mean practice is the only answer to this. And like as I said earlier, if you practice enough, then you would have the instinct of every question. If you solve around 20 to 30 questions in let's just say breadth first search, then you will get the you will get the instinct that yeah, how to approach a question using this algorithm, and how PFS can be used in this question. So it's all about the practice, I feel. And yeah, we all feel tense during short contests. So this is what competitive coding and a good habit of coding will help you eventually. And trust me, the same situation is in your placements also. So you will feel tense in your interviews also if you don't know about that about that question. So what I feel is like you just practice and practice more, And just if you and from the beginning only, if you want to solve like a question on a hacker rank, so the hacker rank does not actually has a timer. Okay, so you can use your own timer and try to solve that question in under 30 seconds. I'm sorry, not 30 seconds, 30 minutes, or like in 1 hour. So I feel if you solve a question from beginning, like from your fifth semester onwards, if you start coding with a timer on, it will very much help you in your placements. So yeah, I mean, that's it from my side.
That was really useful, Surya Kamal. Now coming to one of the most feared concepts, dynamic programming. It is also considered one of the complex ones also. Akshay, do you have any tips on what and how much to concentrate to crack this question?
Yeah, so like among the juniors, the dynamic programming concept is very much feared, and people like tend to scare to solve those problems. I say that it is not their fault also, as like in our syllabus, dynamic programming is like taught as if it is a cup of tea, and people are talking about knapsack problem and all, and we finish our fourth sem. We have algorithm course in fourth sem, and we finish our course with completing dynamic programming, even not knowing the basic idea, like basic hands-on experience on how powerful this tool is. So like people tend to get scared on dynamic programming because as I said, as I explained the example, I'll show it again for you. So as I said, dynamic programming is difficult for the people because it involves recursion. Basically, people are scared of recursion. Then they tend to get scared of dynamic programming. People have to get their basics clear about the recursion, how the recursion works, how elements are stored in the stack when the function call is made, how elements are pushed and popped, then how a recursive tree is built, how we are doing backtracking in that. So if we know the boundaries of recursion, like wherein we can apply recursion, then dynamic programming, I say, is a cup of tea. Like I have also seen that many people get stuck in dynamic programming and visit various websites or YouTube pages to just see what is dynamic programming, and then they start off with the basics. People start to tell them like, okay, follow the overlapping sub problems, optimal substructures. I say please for them, because like that overlapping sub problems and optimal substructure, that concept is fine. That is theoretical concept, but while solving the problems, I don't feel like that is mostly useful. You cannot make out, okay, here there is optimal substructure, so then how to identify whether it is a dynamic programming problem or at least a recursive solution? First of all, look for the keywords in the problem, like look for optimal solution or maximize the output, minimize the output, such keywords, which will eventually lead us to dynamic programming. The most important, even though if you identify these keywords, you are stuck how to apply the dynamic programming concepts. I say, look at this picture once again. That is, I said how I apply dynamic programming is, whenever you are standing at a point and you have to take two paths, that is, you have to make decision whether I have to move to the right path or the left path, or maybe n number of paths. But you want to get efficient solution at the end of the day, and you want to get the efficient solution at the end of the day, and you don't know which path leads to you the best solution. So I say, so the dynamic programming actually says that visit all the paths and see which path has got the efficient solution. This is as simple as it is, because dynamic programming says simply that try recursively go to all the paths and cache the dynamic programming states at each point, so that you need not recalculate those states, which are those are already cached in some array or some vector, and use those values to again calculate the efficient part. So I think dynamic programming can be easily solved by this. Just think of a decision making. whether to go left, right, or any road, which any path you have to take in the problem. And believe me that once you apply this strategy, I think dynamic programming will be very easy for you. And the topics which you have to look up after solving these are the graphs problems and the greedy problems. Why I say this? Because the graph problems are actually the real world problems which and the real world problems, and mostly the number many graph solutions are only approximate solutions, and there is no actually the like exponent the polynomial solution available for graphs, so it leading to become one of the hardest topics. And greedy solution is like some intuitive solution, that is greedy solutions some in most of the cases like give better complexity than dynamic programming solutions, but many of them fail to see that greedy approach there. But every time we cannot say that greedy approach provides us with an optimal solution. So once you are done with dynamic programming, look up to these topics also. I think I made the point clear.
Yes, Akshay, thank you. Surya, as you spoke about various coding platforms, I would like to ask you a question from the comment section. What amount of time a beginner should put in to solve a single problem?
So as a beginner, one should at least put half an hour to 1 hour to solve a code, and like even if he's not able to solve it in 1 hour, and if he wants to take some time, then it's fine. But don't leave that question then and there, because I'm pretty sure that you won't be gonna sing that question ever again. So you should at least try to solve in around 1 or 2 hours. Yeah.
Surya Kamal. And Surya Kamal,
Yeah. Hello.
can you give some tips to the ones who are beginning with competitive? And also, can you tell us about the websites which you think are best to refer to?
Yeah, sure. So I had rated 3 points over there. Akshay, can you put it at the end? End slide. Yeah. So if you have no idea about competitive coding, or even if you don't know like what is there, Akshay, can you mute your mic?
Yeah. Just a second.
Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying that even if you have no experience with coding, it's fine. But if you are in your third semester, I would say that at least begin with learning a language. And why we are saying to pick a language, and preferably a C++ or Java, because C++ has got a good community support in the terms of competitive coding, and like mostly like 80% of all the editorials would be in C++. So it would be very helpful for you to learn C++. And apart from that, like if you want to learn Java also, it's fine. And talking about Python, like why we haven't mentioned Python over here, it's not because it's slow or anything. It's a like it's also a fast language in its own way, and like even if it is slow, then every platform has got time multipliers and all. So the the reason why we haven't put Python is is because, like as I told, that C++ has got a good community support, and the next thing being is obviously your placements. So in your placements, like most of the companies, at least their first aptitude round, and the round in which they ask you about the questions on like oops and some basic output based questions. So those are only based on C++ or Java, but what we have seen is it is mostly based on C++ only. Uh, so yeah, I mean, placements is another topic why you should learn C++. And the next point being is get thorough with DS and algo. So we have provided a link in the description in which we have given some good YouTube channel links and also some good what do I saying some good articles also. So you can go through it and plan your way accordingly. And yeah, the last thing is the obvious one: solve problems. Okay, just practice and practice. Okay, so I mean, these three things seem easy, but trust me, it will take a lot of time. Like it will take at least 1.5 years to get through all of the topics and have a good command in all of them. And trust me, I mean, it's not that you won't get time just before your placements. You will get time and you will have time to solve all the questions, like from a from every topic of strings to graphs and all. But you won't be able to grasp everything in a short period of time. You won't have a hands-on coding experience in every algorithmic paradigm. So you will lack somewhat coding skills, and that will will show your performance in the interviews and the aptitude round as well. So yeah, I feel that if you are in your if you are in your third semester, then it is really a good time to just start with competitive coding, or not just competitive coding, like just code. Okay, like I'm not saying that go and give every competition out there, but at least try to solve one or two questions each day, and at least try to give at least one coding competition each week on any of the platforms like LeetCode, Hackerrank, CodeChef, and CodeForces. And trust me, it will help you a lot. Okay, so yeah, that's it from
Thank you,
my side.
Surya Kamal. Any tips from your side, Akshay?
So the last words of wisdom from our side is for the juniors or whoever is listening to the seminar is start competitive programming like as soon as possible, and just make groups among your peers, just discuss among yourself, keep a healthy competition going on, so that you will also learn and you will also teach others. Because if you alone start competitive programming, like if you get stuck somewhere, you end up days together, wasting days together of time while solving it. But if you make a group, if you make a small group of 3 or 4 people, can discuss it daily. Like if you feel some classes are boring, like you can do the problems in the class also. Like any free time you get, you can solve those problems. Like then your productivity will gradually increase, and look for good websites, and you can see Google, the Code Jam, Hash Code. Google will be many prestigious companies will be holding good competitions like Facebook Hacker Cup, and then we have got ASM ICPC competitions. So many of these are present. Like look into their websites, see like when can you participate, are you eligible. So just give a try from yourself. It is like so we had done this session because we were lacking a competitive programming community in our college, so we want to build one because every college has its own, and many students participate in that, and so keep this activity going. And for any queries and all, you can reach up to any one of us.
Thank you, Akshay. Thank you, Suryakumar, for giving us information about competitive programming. Well, I guess that was a very fruitful session. Hope that was useful for the ones who attended the session as well. And we also have an announcement to make. We are conducting a coding contest tomorrow from 5 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. in Hackerrank. All of you will be receiving Hackerrank link through Placement Cell mail ID tomorrow at 12 p.m. So hope you all participate in the contest and get a fair idea on what type of problems or questions you'll be facing during placements.
Hope that all those who have attended today's session have been motivated to code more and have also got an idea on how to approach the problems in these coding rounds. Thank you all. Hope you all attend tomorrow's coding competition, which is being hosted in Hackerrank, which will help you boost start your coding. Keep coding and keep rocking, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.